your city, put your state, put your country. And let me just go live here on YouTube. Let me know down below where you're watching from. I'm here in beautiful Miami Beach, Florida. It is a spectacular day here from Keto Kamp HQ. And what we're going to be talking about today, of course, is keto. Every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern time, I'm live with you to answer your burning keto questions. So what I would like for you to do is start posting your questions for me down below. Hey, Tara, good to see you on here. Maryland, Coconut Creek, not too far from me. You're about, an hour north of me. Lois in the house from Orem, Utah. Good to see you on here. Loris is watching from the UAE. Good to see you on here as well. So UK here, been doing keto for 3 years, 140 pounds down and maintaining. Let's go, Galaxy Quest. That's what I'm talking about. Good job. Arizona in the house. Hey, Diane. Panji in San Francisco. Stacy in Kalispell, Montana. Lori in Kansas City. Rainy day in Georgia, says Betty. Good to see you on here, Benny. Henriette in Denmark. Good to see you on here. All right, first question I see is, do supplements throw you out of ketosis? Well, it depends on what supplement you're taking, but for the most part, no. Supplements should not throw you out of ketosis unless you're taking some supplement that somehow is raising your glucose and insulin very high, but I don't see that happening with most supplements. So supplements are great. You just got to make sure when it comes to supplements, I'm a big fan of rotating supplements. I teach that to my Keto Kamp Academy members, how to rotate your supplements. And you want to take whole food sourced supplements. The body has a different response when you take synthetic vitamins versus whole food sourced vitamins. When you take synthetic vitamins, cheap vitamins and minerals that you might get at Walgreens or CVS or even on Amazon, synthetic vitamins are going to be recognized as a drug by the body. The liver has to detoxify that, and you just get expensive urine, money literally down the drain. But when you buy high quality, whole food sourced vitamins, then your body recognizes that as food, uses what it needs, and then excretes what it doesn't need. So vitamins and minerals and supplements should not knock you out of ketosis. They could actually support ketosis. But think of supplements as exactly what the word says. It's to supplement your ketogenic lifestyle. It's to supplement whole foods you're eating. Okay, you can't just eat a poor diet and expect to supplement, because you need to reduce inflammation, specifically cellular membrane inflammation, so those supplements could actually do their job like you want them to do. Otherwise, your money is going down the drain. So that's what I would recommend when it comes to supplementation. If you're wondering where I get my supplements from and where you could get the same ones that I have vetted and I use, my affiliate website can be found over at ketokampsupplements.com, which is linked to Revelation Health. So if you want to see the ones that I use, everything on there has been approved by me, Dr. Pampa, Dr. Mindy, the docs I work with. It's ketokampsupplements.com. What is the best berberine and turmeric supplementation, says Betty? I have been taking the berberine from Genius Brands because it's dihydroberberine. Dihydroberberine is it's the activated form of berberine. Your gut doesn't have to activate it. So it's more absorbable. It doesn't create gut issues. So I use the one from Genius Brands on Amazon. I usually just have those when I have a keto flex meal, higher carb meal. I don't do it on regular days. And I cycle on and off berberine. For turmeric, my favorite is the one from Paleo Valley. They have a fantastic turmeric complex that I love. Highly absorbable, high quality, whole food sourced turmeric complex. So paleovalley.com. Our coupon code with them is KetoKamp15, KetoKamp15. Been fasting and doing keto for a few months, says G. Quinn. I feel great, but noticing fasting glucose in the morning is in the 90s, still with the ketones above 1.0. Can I expect better fasting levels the longer I practice fasting? Those numbers are great. Morning glucose numbers for most people will be higher than the rest of the day. And that's a simple, natural response because of something called the dawn phenomenon, the dawn effect. So what you need, the body is going to raise cortisol in the morning to help give you some energy, which raises glucose because cortisol follows glucose. And when you raise glucose from cortisol, you're going to see a higher glucose reading in the morning. So what I would recommend is keep testing throughout the day. And if you're in the fasted state, the trend you want to see is glucose gradually declining and ketones being at 1.0 like you were at, or increasing. If you're hitting that, you're fine. Keto Hope Dealers, thank you so much for supporting with the badge. It's a cool thing we could do here on Instagram. Thank you. Go check out the Keto Hope Dealers magazine. They're doing great work, and I have been blessed to be a part of that magazine. So shout out to Keto Hope Dealers. It's my 3rd week of keto, says Yusuf. Good job, 3 weeks in. And I still get diarrhea to this day. What should I do? So it sounds like you're not producing healthy bile. This is important, and it happens often. So I'll give you some solutions here, Yusuf. The liver, 4.5-pound organ on the right side here of your rib cage, is soccer mom organ. She does everything for us. But a lot of people have beat up the liver through medication, toxins, alcohol, processed foods, and now the liver is producing thick, sluggish bile, B-I-L-E. Bile has many jobs in the body. One of them is to break down fat. As you increase fat on keto, if you have sluggish bile, it could result in diarrhea. There's also a detoxification effect to bile. So what we want to do, if you're getting diarrhea on keto, getting digestive issues on keto, we want to support that liver. Bitters are going to support the liver. So everybody write it in your notes or write it in the comment section with me. Bitter for the liver. Put it in the chat. Bitter for the liver. Bitters are going to, my favorite bitters are going to include arugula, dandelion greens, ginger tea, dandelion tea, milk thistle tea, apple cider vinegar could be great. Maybe even taking a supplement with ox bile in it. We want to support that liver. Maybe you want to eat smaller, more frequent meals and spread out your fats to give your liver some time to adapt. The liver produces the bile. The gallbladder is the storage house for the bile. And as you eat fat, the gallbladder releases and drips some of that bile to break down the fat. But if the liver is producing thick bile, it could create an issue with this whole process, which could result in the diarrhea that you're getting. So you want to support the liver. Some things you can do that are even more advanced than what I just shared when it comes to supporting the liver is to do a coffee enema, maybe even a castor oil pack at night before bed. Support that liver. You could also take liver supplementation. But Yusuf, you'll feel better. You might want to spread out your fats and eat smaller meals. I see Monica, bitter for the liver. Elizabeth, bitter for the liver. That's what I'm talking about. In the future posts, can you give exact brands and vitamins to take? There's so many out there, but if you go to one website, it has all of the ones I use and I approve, and that is ketokampsupplements.com. Every brand, there's many brands on there, but rest assured that every brand on there has been vetted by me and the doctors that I work with to make sure they live up to par with their ingredients and sourcing. So that's ketokampsupplements.com. Bless MVP Ramirez says on TikTok, I enjoy a black cup of coffee and a shot of espresso from Starbucks. Will that break my fast? Okay, I love coffee. I love espresso. I got bad news for my Starbucks drinkers out there. Starbucks coffee is loaded with toxins, pesticides, herbicides. Coffee is one of the top sprayed crops in the world, right up there with soy, with corn. So I'm not a fan of Starbucks coffee, but you know, if you're gonna have Starbucks, does it break your fast? Let's answer that question. The answer is maybe. How do you know if coffee breaks your fast? My definition of breaking a fast is when you're losing the autophagy benefits. Autophagy is cellular repair, cellular cleanup. And when you raise glucose, autophagy is in decline. So the only way to know if your coffee is breaking your fast is to check your blood glucose right before you have your coffee. Drink your coffee. 30 minutes after, check your blood glucose again. And if you see a rise of 5 points or higher, 3 days in a row on average, then I got bad news for you. It is breaking the autophagy and breaking your fast. Some people don't see that rise, so it's very different for everybody. But with that being said, I'm not a big fan of Starbucks, not a big fan of Dunkin' Donuts, not a big fan of these chain coffee joints because they are typically loaded with pesticides and herbicides. So here's what I do. When I'm traveling, I would go to Starbucks, but I don't get their coffee. I just ask them for a hot cup of water because they have a great filtration process at Starbucks. So I just get a hot cup of water. They usually give it to me for free. And I'll bring little packets from Four Sigmatic, which are these instant coffee packets, and I'll put it in the hot water and I'll drink that. So it's a great way to get the filtered hot water, but have healthy, clean coffee from Four Sigmatic. They're great. You can find them on Amazon. 90 days in, says Axe Hacker, and I've lost too much weight, possibly even lost muscle. I feel great, but so here's what you can do. Congrats on losing weight. Sounds like you lost more than what you wanted, but what you can do is you could focus on eating more protein, maybe getting into a caloric surplus, making sure you're getting good sleep, and lifting weights to put on any muscle you might have lost. You also could do some things to fix the gut so you could start assimilating nutrients even better. I don't drink coffee, brother, says Keto Hope Dealers. I'm not sure if that's Joe or Latoya. What is a good tea I could drink during a fast? Is there a good alternative I can use to sweeten it? Yeah, so teas, I like Pique tea, Pique, is a great go-to tea for fasting. If you go to ketokamptea.com, it goes to my affiliate page with them. I have a 10% coupon code, which is just Ben. So Pique tea is great. Yogi is also great. Traditional medicinals are great as well, but my go-to is Pique tea. There was a question. L-carnitine on keto. You know, L-carnitine. Oh, and I see Noel had the same question about tea. So there you go. I answered it thanks to Keto Hope Dealers. L-carnitine can be great. When I interviewed Christina Hess on my podcast a few weeks ago, she mentioned how L-carnitine, I think it was her, L-carnitine could actually help with fat burning. There's some research to show that, but also maybe even some ketone production. So I think L-carnitine has its place. You could get it natural occurring foods like red meat, but you could take it in a supplement form to really help with fatty acid utilization. Bennick Bates. In your book, I read about resistant starch. How much should I eat during 3 and 4 of my cycle? I'm not clear on the free carbs if I should. Okay, thanks for getting the book. So the main week to focus on is the week right before your period. So the 7 days before your monthly cycle, you want to take your total carbohydrates, 100 to 150 grams total for the day. That includes resistant starches, just to make it simple. So those 7 days before your period, you want to increase those healthy carbs to help build progesterone, build estrogen, make these hormonal conversions. Once you have your bleed, you go back down below 50 grams, but aim to get 100 to 150 grams total those 7 days before your period, and that includes the resistant starches, just to make it very, very simple for you. Good to see Poland in the house, Shannon in the house, Susan in the house, UK in the house, David. Good to see your beautiful faces. Are there any fruit teas not good for diabetics? I mean, if there's teas that are based off of like fruits, but there's no sugar, then it should be okay for diabetics. Of course, work with your doctor on that, but check out Pique tea. They're great. Summer says, you made a comment about taking Pure Form with food. Why is that? I take my first 2 in the morning before a workout. No, taking them before a workout is great. It'll actually help with the lactic acid, and it'll help with the workout. You don't have to take it with food. I sometimes do, I sometimes don't. So I don't remember what I was saying, but either way is fine. You're good with what you're doing. Vitamin C break a fast. Is that true? Vitamin C does not break a fast. However, I'm not a fan of taking antioxidants during a fast, and vitamin C is an antioxidant. So here's why. If you're taking antioxidants during a fast, which includes vitamin C, resveratrol, turmeric, any kind of anti-inflammatory antioxidant that's natural, they're great. But during a fast, what's going to happen is fasting is a stress to the body, but it's a good stress. It forces your body to adapt. This is called hormesis. Hormesis, the definition of hormesis, to make it very simple, apply a stress. The stress forces the body to adapt and become stronger. If you take antioxidants during a fast, you're taking away some of that stress, which forces less adaptation. So you'll get, I believe, a little bit less benefits from the fast because you're giving yourself some antioxidants to deal with that stressor. So it's not breaking your fast, but you might get a little bit less benefits. Now, I don't have science to back that up. It just makes sense to me that that would be the case. There might be science out there. I just don't have anything off the top of my head. But when you think about fasting, it's a stress, and let the body use that stress to adapt and get stronger. We wouldn't want to take antioxidants because that could take away from this innate intelligence from dealing with that stress. So take your antioxidants with your meals. I also don't like the idea of taking antioxidants around a workout. Same principle applies. Working out is a stress, and you could negate some of your body's hormetic benefits by taking antioxidants around a workout. So that's what I would recommend. Beta says, does bone broth break a fast? It does, because it has protein, which will raise glucose. But that's considered, bone broth fast there's benefits to that. That's considered a partial fast, but you won't get as much benefits as if you did a water only fast. Bitter for the liver, that's what I'm talking about. Shannon, Abby. Debbie says, I am in New Jersey and I'm gaining weight. What am I doing wrong? So revisit the fundamentals. Make sure your sleep is rock solid, 7 hours of quality sleep. Everybody should be getting at least 7 hours of quality sleep. If you want to burn more fat, you want to feel good, you want to get more keto results, you want to live a long, healthy life, you want to have mental clarity and just feel like a rock star, sleep is where it's at. So right there, Debbie, I would make sure you're getting quality sleep. I do have a free sleep webinar. If anybody wants to watch that today, go to ketokampsleep.com and watch that free sleep webinar after this one. If somebody could type it in the chat box, ketokampsleep.com. So make sure your sleep is good, make sure you're mastering your stress, and mix it up, okay? If you're doing the same routine for fasting every single day, eating the same keto foods, mix it up. Maybe you need more fasting, maybe you need less fasting, maybe you need a flex out of ketosis, or maybe you just need to eat different keto foods, or maybe you need to do some carnivore. Mix it up. You know, in my Keto Kamp Academy, I have my 4-pillar approach, and it's designed for the students to go and mix up the pillars. You know, 1 month they're doing pillar 2, next month they're doing pillar 3, and then pillar 4, and then back to pillar 3. It's the variation that forces adaptation. And when you force adaptation, good cells get stronger, bad cells don't adapt. It is like survival of the fittest. So mix it up. That's my recommendation. That's right, Becky. Variation is key. Great idea, Ben. I love 4 Sigmatic. Yep, me too. Manjit, good to see you on here. You were just in my 7-day keto challenge. I fasted 5 days and I felt really good through 3 days. On the 4th day and 5th day, I had excruciating pain in my back and thighs. I thought I had to go to the hospital. I was drinking at least 2 water and 2.5 teaspoons of salt. Any suggestions? Thanks. Sorry that you were dealing with the pain. Good job doing the fast. When I did my first 5-day water fast, I had excruciating lower back pain. Here's my thought process though. That was autophagy in my body healing that area. I used to have really bad lower back pain when I was obese. I used to always pull out my back. So when I did a 5-day fast, around day 3, actually, like you, I started to get this pulsating lower back pain. And I believe that was the innate intelligence doing its thing. That was the autophagy healing that area. So it could have been that. You know, I can't say for certain, but that's what I thought when I was going through the pain during a fast. Marie, good to have you join. Great keto info every time I tune in. I appreciate you, Marie. I've been doing intermittent fasting, says Susan, and keto since January, and I've lost 75 pounds. Now I have no appetite and no interest in food. Most days I don't meet my macro. Any advice? Congratulations on 75 pounds. I would recommend eating foods that are easy to digest, like protein shakes. Focus on protein and maybe do some protein shakes every now and then. And exercise and building muscle will increase your appetite in a healthy way. So exercise and protein shakes is what would be my recommendation if I was doing that. I've been doing OMAD for a year, lost 68 pounds. Let's go, Steve Rosso. There we go. Ciao, Antonio. Good to see you. Will C8 keto elevate in my coffee break a fast? No, Stacy. Good to see Stacy on here. It will not break your fast. It will support it, but always check your glucose. Going back to what I said earlier, make sure you're not getting any glucose response. But C8 caprylic acid has been known through science, through research studies, to increase ketone production. I'm insulin resistant and obese. How do I know if I'm leptin resistant? Well, some basic signs to pay attention to is that, Gabby, that you're hungry all the time and you're less satisfied when you eat. Those are some like general things to pay attention to, but there should be a test to check for leptin resistance. You could ask your doctor about that. The leptin receptor sites are in the brain, and leptin is a hormone chemical that tells you you're full, stop eating. So if you find yourself not being full often and wanting to eat all the time, there could be leptin resistance. So you could do a test, ask your doctor about that. Hey, Suzanne, I'm pretty much at my goal weight. Just need to add a little bit more muscle now. How do I know if I can eat nightshades? They don't seem to impact me. Are they acceptable on keto? Nightshades can be considered a hormetic food. So in general, I'm not a fan of nightshades. So what are nightshades? Nightshades are going to be eggplants, tomatoes. There's a few others. You could do a Google search, but nightshades contain lectins. Lectins are an anti-nutrient that could inflame your gut. I do think it's important for a short period of time, especially for 30 days when you first start keto, to avoid them. But then you could slowly introduce them and see how your body responds, Suzanne. So here's some things to pay attention to. When you have nightshades, from that point on of having it and 4 days after, pay attention to post-nasal drip, joint pain, brain fog, maybe like fatigue. If you get any of that, then those nightshades probably are not doing anything good for you. But if you don't get that, then you should be fine in moderation. And then building muscle, sleep, lifting weights, gut health, all that could help as well. Let's see what other questions we have here as my mouse is not working. There we go. I recently heard fermented vegetables are good. Not sure what this means. I like fermented vegetables. They're terrific. They are prebiotics, which feed gut bacteria. Sauerkraut is a fermented vegetable. Kimchi, fermented vegetable. So I like those. Dan says, I lost 26 pounds on keto and fasting. Let's go, Dan in Atlanta. Good job, my friend. Gene, what do you do when keto quits working, stalled out after 9 months? Well, hopefully you're keto flexing. We recommend keto flexing after the first 3 to 4 months. When you're in ketosis for too long, if you do 9 months straight, the body will slow down fat burning. So you might be due for a keto flex. Gene. Can I take creatine on keto? Yes, you can. It'll depend on how active you are. If you're taking creatine, take more water. Hydrate yourself more, but you want to take creatine with vitamin C, but you can take it with keto. Where on the Keto Kamp site can I find the chart on healthy carbs for flex meals? I asked you about it a few weeks ago on Clubhouse. I'm trying to gain weight. Lori, you could find that over at ketokampblueprint.com. If anybody's interested in getting an aisle by aisle grocery shopping list for keto, good fats, good protein, bad protein, keto flex carbs, and how to check ketones, like the optimal ranges, it's ketokampblueprint.com is where you could find it. My mouse is, there we go. Does adding collagen to your coffee reduce the effect of the collagen? No, but it'll break your fast, so keep that in mind. I think collagen in your coffee is great. Make sure it's a high quality collagen though. If I use an electrolyte supplement like Dr. Berg in lime water, will electrolyte with the lime juice and render it's less absorbed by the body? No, I don't think it will. Can I drink whey protein on keto? It depends on the brand. Now, Dr. Ben Bikman has a great health code supplement brand that has the right amount of whey protein, but with some other things to make sure it doesn't have a high insulin response and it's, cold pressed grass fed. But most whey proteins will create a high insulin response. So I like health codes in whey protein, but in general, I'm not a big fan of whey protein unless it's around exercise, so you don't get that high insulin response. I'm going to answer a couple more questions here. KetoKampSleep.com. That's it. Thank you so much, Shannon, for doing that. Subrata, I am on the keto diet for the last 9 months and a diabetic the last 19 years. My A1C is 5.6 for the last 6 months, but my morning glucose level is at 130. Should I take metformin? That's your doctor's call, metformin. It sounds like you still have insulin resistance. Congrats, doing keto for 9 months. It's going to take some time. I don't know what your morning glucose was 9 months ago, but I imagine it was much higher. So keep doing what you're doing. Add in some fasting, monitor your numbers. Metformin is something you got to talk to your doctor about. I do know that berberine is very similar to metformin, and there's no prescription required. But even for berberine, ask your doctor about that as well. You are very welcome, Michael. My pleasure. I cannot find the carb content in the CB gummies you recommend. What are they? I think there is like 3 to 5 grams of carbs in each CBD gummy. If you're talking about Dr. Phillips CBD. I love my Tranquility mattress. I can do evening yoga on it. That is, yeah, good job. That mattress is the best. Good job getting it. And you can learn more about what Summer is talking about with my webinar, KetoKampSleep.com. Apple cider vinegar is great. It helps lower blood sugar. It's also a bitter to help the liver produce bile. Do you eat any low carbs? Yeah, if you want to be in ketosis, in general, you want to keep your total carbs below 50 and get them from non-starchy green leafy vegetables. And then on a keto flex day, higher carb day, you have over 100 and 100 to 150 grams of carbs. All right, I got to sign off because I got a few things to take care of. I'm going to be interviewed later for a keto summit, and I have some calls. So join me next Wednesday, 12 p.m. Eastern time. In the meantime, go subscribe to my Keto Kamp podcast, available on all podcast platforms. Go find me on Instagram at the Ben Azadi, TikTok at the Ben Azadi, and make sure you're subscribed to the Keto Kamp YouTube channel. Hit the thumbs up button here on YouTube so the YouTube algorithm knows you're getting value from this. Maybe share this video with a friend. Every Wednesday, 12 p.m. Eastern time, I am live with you, so join me next week. Appreciate you all so much. Have a blessed rest of your day. Stay in love.